Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Welcome to the Talking with the Experts Online Business Summit.
Hello and welcome to the May 2025 Talking with the Experts Online Business Summit, where innovative business owners and industry leaders come together to share insights and their strategies and some success stories. This online event is designed for entrepreneurs who are eager to learn, connect and grow their businesses. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, this summit offers a wealth of knowledge from experts across various industries. Gain actionable strategies, discover the latest business trends, and learn how to overcome challenges in today's dynamic marketplace. Our next guest is the ever helpful Peter Mohr. Hey Pete, how are you?
I'm awesome, Rose. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you so much for returning to the summit. It's a pleasure to see you again. And we're going to be discussing moving from operator to owner and unlock your business's full potential. I love what you share. You are a previous guest on the Talking with the Experts podcast, and your insights are always valuable to not only to me, because I gain a lot of knowledge from my guests, but to my audiences as well.
Thanks so much for having me, Rose. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here with you and with everybody taking part. It's bright and early in the morning here, 2 a.m., and excited to be here. And no matter what time of the day, I always love talking business.
Wonderful. Now, Pete is a seasoned entrepreneur. He's a business coach and the founder of Simplifying Entrepreneurship. With over 30 years of experience owning and managing successful ventures, Pete specialises in helping business owners transform from overwhelmed operators to confident owners. Using his proven 5Ps business framework of promise, product, process, people, and profit, Pete equips leaders with the tools to streamline operations, align their business goals, and achieve true entrepreneurial freedom. As a certified exit planner and Colby coach, Pete is passionate about empowering owners to building thriving, self-sustaining businesses while reclaiming time for the life they deserve. So let me ask you about clarity through alignment, and what is that, and how could it help us?
I really have been doing a lot of thinking, Rose, about the word alignment. And I know when we set this whole thing up, it wasn't as big a thought maybe as it is now for me. But the 5 Ps, as we'll go through them, and the word alignment, it's such a key thing because when you have alignment, everything works. Everything seems to hum. Everything seems to roll along in a smooth manner. Just think of the word alignment in your vehicle. If you're driving in the car and your four tires are out of alignment and one of them is towed in or towed out, your car is scrubbing along that pavement and there's automatic friction all of the time. And if your cars are in perfect alignment and the wheels are balanced and everything is going along, you're rolling down for that 5 hour journey, never feeling anything. Always your steering wheel is nice and easy. And as the leader, as the driver of the business, you want your steering wheel to be nice and easy. You want the road to be sort of straightforward, and you want the passengers to enjoy the ride too. And I think that sort of alignment is just a really important thing for everything we do as leaders in the business. And it's our job, quite frankly, to keep our team aligned, to keep our clients aligned, to keep our suppliers aligned, because everything starts with the bedrock of the business, and the bedrock of the business is your promise. And that is the first of the 5 Ps.
Absolutely. You promise to deliver. You give your clients or customers, a promise to do the right thing by them, not to scam them, not to cheat them in any way. You promise to deliver what you say.
Absolutely. And, you know, the way I look at promise as it fits into this particular model is that as the bedrock of everything you do, the promise is not your vision. The promise is not your mission, your mission. Those are sort of guiding principle things that a lot of people talk about and that you do need to spend time on and that you do need to work through. The promise is outwardly facing. The promise is the thing that you shout out from the mountaintops. This is what I do. This is how I do it uniquely from anyone else. And this is how I can take you through the pain that you're facing when you found, however you found me through the different promotion that you do and everything, is how I can take you through that pain and to a better life. Because the one thing that every business needs to do is it needs to show their client a better life, because that's when the transfer of money happens. And unless you can clearly articulate what that promise is, if it's ambiguous in any way, if it doesn't align properly to your products and your process and your people, the things we'll talk about in a bit, then basically it seems weird. You're off course and nothing ever seems to roll properly, because everything you do in your business needs to be based on delivering that promise to your clients, because that's when that transfer happens. And unless you can get that transfer to happen, you need to tweak your promise and you need to tweak your products and you need to tweak your process so that you can get on that path to alignment, so that everything's rolling in the direction that you want for your business and, quite honestly, for your life.
Absolutely. And so, making that promise, sometimes we can actually delegate that promise to others within our organization or our team. How can we build the right team and create repeatable processes?
I think the word delegate is a scary word for a lot of entrepreneurs. And, although we delegate as we add team members, it's scary to align and assign accountability. And there's a certain way that makes aligning and assigning accountability easier. And it's through process. That's the first thing before we get to process, though, is understanding the service that you offer. So, I always like to go from the promise to the product, which is the second P, and the product really, or service, if you're a service-based business, is what you offer. And when I think about the offering, if you've been in business for a while, do people still actually want what you offer? One of the killing pieces that a lot of people think is that, well, I started the business offering, product or service A, and that's what I have to offer. Like, that's our core offering. Well, if nobody's buying it, is it really a core offering? We own some shoe stores, Rose. And we've had shoes in our store for probably 10 years that, just keep repeating year after year after year from certain brands. But, in one time, they might have been the hottest shoe out there. And now nobody wants them. Think of it in color, think of it in fashion, think of it in heel height, think of it in width, like all sorts of ways of looking at whatever product you offer. Most people are familiar with shoes. That's why I just used that one. But, things go in and out of style. And just because something was a core offering for you for any given amount of time doesn't mean that your client still wants it. And if that product is out of alignment with what your client wants, then we need to go back to the promise that you made and see if it's still relevant. Because if it isn't, we have to fix that before we start aligning and assigning anything to it process-wise. Because if the offering isn't right first, then the process and the accountability and behind it, if nobody's buying what you have, you don't have a business. Or the business will diminish if that product is falling out of fashion. So the next piece, as we talked a little bit about, as you asked about, is the process. And as we start to align and assign process, because we have more business happening and more stuff's going on and products are working, services are working, things are good. Well, if everything's in your head, I'm pointing to those that are watching to my head, it's really hard to align and assign the stuff that's inside your head if we don't have proper documentation, if we don't have things laid out in a way that people actually understand and learn. One of my jobs, you mentioned it, is I'm a Colby coach. So Colby is an assessment that helps you understand how you make decisions. And when we overlay Colby onto ourselves and onto our team and start to see, are you a fact finder? Are you a follow through? Are you a quick start? Are you an implementer? Which shows how much information do you like? Do you like bullet points? Do you like a medium amount of information, or do you want the great big description in order to make that decision? Well, you can imagine process wise that if I gave you a book to follow through on a particular thing that I'm asking you to do, and you're a person that likes bullet points, you're never going to read the book.
Mm.
And if I gave you bullet points and you're somebody who loves their information, you're never going to feel confident. Confident's a big word in helping people make decisions for you and with you. And if they're not going to feel confident if you haven't given them enough information so that they can actually make the decision for you. So and that's just fact finding. Follow through. Do they like checklists? Do they like, are they good on the fly? Are they not good on the fly? Are you asking them to do something that they need to be good on the fly with, and they just don't like that? That's not their cup of tea. And you're wondering, well, why aren't they doing the job? It's because you haven't aligned and assigned things in a way to how they learn and how they do. And these are things we need to know with our team when we start to do this sort of stuff. Think about video. Some people learn by video. Other people are like, no, I won't even watch a video. I need to read it. And most people, when they start to align process, they start, and when they finally do get it out of their crazy head and onto some sort of format, they start to put it in the format that they would want it, which isn't necessarily the way that your team wants it or will absorb it. And then we wonder why things don't go well when we start to delegate and when we start to do these things. It's usually our own faults. And sometimes we don't even know it. And so these are the things and these are the talks around. Hopefully you can start thinking about this stuff. And it's like, oh, really? I should do video format for that. Or maybe, oh gosh, I should actually set it up with a checklist. That might work for my teammate, because she is a checklist person or he is a checklist person. And all I have to do is take our document that's 10 pages long and throw it into ChatGPT and tell it, give me a checklist on this thing. And it's going to spit you off the 10-point checklist. That's going to make it so much easier for that one person. And they're going to get it done for you. That's what we want as leaders. We need to have alignment and assignment of the right process, aligned to the right product, so that things happen without us. And it's only then that we start to have more freedom in our business as we move from operator to owner in our businesses, when we can start to do this sort of thing so that decisions are being made without us. And here's the other thing. Your team actually wants to make decisions for you. If they're aligned with your promise, if they're aligned with your culture, if they're aligned with what you do and how you do it through your process, they're going to want to make that decision. And quite honestly, they're not going to want you to have to ask them all the stuff. Have you got it right? Or what, like all of the authority things that a lot of small business owners do. They just want to do it. And they want to do it for you and with you and for your clients, because everybody wants to make their own decisions. And your job really is to then move from detail to dashboard. And when we think of it, that old 80-20 rule that almost everybody talks about is very applicable here. If you can lose 80% of the actual time spent in whatever task we're talking about. I often use bookkeeping as one of the sort of examples that most small business owners hate doing their books. But they find they're still doing their books. One of the first things I let go years ago was bookkeeping. 30 years now I've been in business, and probably 29 of those I have not done my own books. Well, the interesting thing, Rose, I could do books. I have an administration degree. I have a master's of business. I'm actually very good at accounting, and I understand it well, and can dig into books very simply and very easily. I just don't want to do it, and I don't like it, and it's not in the best use of my time. So it's one of the things that I farmed off easy. So start thinking, and I'm talking to you, the listener. Start thinking about the things that you love to do and you're good at. That's the area you want to live in your business. And even though I am good at doing bookworks, I don't love to do it. And most small business owners, when we start working together, as we roll through some of this stuff and start to dissect their businesses and their lives, they spend a lot of time in that box that says, I don't necessarily love this, but I'm good at it. So I'm probably the best person for the business to do this. So I'm just going to do it. And sometimes they do it forever. And that's a real shame.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely. Why do things that you don't like when you can give it to somebody else on your team, or start a team, or create a team um, with those people that can do that better than you can? And that's the point of having a team, is finding people who can do things better than you, so that you can free up your time, as you say, to do other things.
Rose, there's that one framework where you're finding the people that are better than you. But sometimes, even if you are better than the other person, it's still better for you to free up your time and let them do it and move from detail to dashboard. So you might finish that last 20%, or you might, work with them on that last 20%. Because sometimes what you're even better at something else. And when we think of time is a framework, and there's only 24 hours in a day. So you still might be better than somebody at the bookwork, but the time that you spent, let's say, in sales might be even more beneficial to your business than the time you spent in bookwork. So it's still a better thing for you to unload the bookwork to someone else. And by the way, there are a lot of the things we talk about. There are professionals out there that are easy to find and that are easy to sort of roll into your business, that understand what you're talking about, even though you think you may be the only one that does. There are people that can do this work. And it's such an empowering thing when you find some people and you start releasing some of these things. It almost becomes addictive. And the thing that I've noticed in my later years of business is that when we can do that for our team members too, when we can relieve our team members of the things they really don't like and find somebody else who's a better fit there. And I'll go back to my bookkeeper. I mentioned I can do bookkeeping. I can balance the visa. It's something that I know how to do. I can get into QuickBooks. I can balance the visa. It pains me to balance the visa. The amount of time I spent, I just hate doing those sort of balancing things and pulling out the receipts and making sure everything's right and checking the tax and all that kind of stuff. My bookkeeper, she woohoos when she balances the visa. She's like, woohoo. She loves it. It's like it's in her. It's just the way she loves to do things. So, you know, why do we not want to give things that maybe we don't like, or why do we not want to take the things that our team doesn't like and give it to another team member that woohoos when they do something that somebody else doesn't like? That's when we get alignment. That's when we get things rolling down that highway in an easier way, in a more simple way, in a way that just rolls without friction. And everybody comes to work and they're like, if I can woohoo during the day, that's a good day.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, I don't like book work either. I absolutely detest doing my accounting. So I don't do it.
Rose, one of the things that I do a lot of work with helping people get their business ready for sale as a certified exit planner. And so a lot of the work, the preamble of getting everything, that 6 months to 2 years ahead of actually listing in order to build the value in the business before we list. One of the big issues is that most people haven't done their books well.
Mm.
And they've left it, that whole idea of, handing over your papers once a month or every quarter or once a year for some people, and not really knowing where things are at, not really doing what you need to be doing to keep on track of things. It's a real issue. And if we just use the books here because we've been talking about it today, but where are the other issues that have been left undone, that are only checked once a month, that are only checked once every quarter, that need to be checked in a regular rhythm on a regular basis in order to have that engine running in the car properly? They're in your business, they're there, yet you still don't deal with them. And I'm hoping that some of the conversations we have today will tweak a few of these things so that you can think, oh yeah, if there's one or two things after today that you're going to go back and tweak, it's going to build the value in your business. It's going to give you an easier life. It's going to give you more freedom. It's going to make your customers happier. It's going to have a seamless transition in the customer journey so that they're going to refer their friends to your goods and services, your promise, and they're going to say, when I go to Shoetopia, it's my favorite shoe store. I always look good and feel fantastic, and I'm going to refer my friends. Like, whatever your business is, whatever your label is there, our promise is we're going to help you look good and feel fantastic. When you stand in front of that mirror and we say, how do you look? You're going to go, ooh, I look pretty good. When you close your eyes in those shoes and we say, how do they feel? You're going to say, ah, they feel fantastic. And if you look good and feel fantastic, we have delivered our promise. You're going to walk to the till. You're going to feel good about the pair of shoes. You're going to feel as though the service was right and you were treated right. And when you walk out, you look back at the sign and you say, you know what? Shoetopia is my favorite shoe store. That's what we want to deliver to our clients. And whether it's a shoe store, whether you sell a steak, whether you sell automotive services, whether you're a dentist, it doesn't matter. We need to build that journey. We need to build that story through the 5 Ps so that we can deliver that every time.
Mm. Oh, absolutely. No, and I like the formula because it's very clear about how we need to build that path to business freedom, whether it's through being aligned with your values and having that clear promise, whether it's through the power of delegation, where we've picked the right team members, we've created processes that frees up the business owner but make sure that the business runs smoothly. And having those right people and choosing those right people can be challenging, though. To they need to align with the business values, and they have to be able to fit into the other team members.
They do. And so we're at the 4th P, which is people. And it's the one that keeps most business owners up at night. It's an interesting thing, you know. I like to break down people into 3 different categories. One, your ideal client. 2, your ideal teammate. 3, your ideal supplier, your outsourced supplier that helps deliver your promise. And, you know, I know on your podcast, Rose, you've talked about ideal clients and all of that sort of stuff. And, we won't spend too much time there. But the idea really is, how are you attracting more of your best ever customer? And how are you repelling more of your worst ever customer? And it's okay to repel.
Mm.
It's okay to repel. You don't need every customer. And you do need the best customers, and you need more of them. So every minute that you can repel your worst customer and spend more of that time attracting the best customer is time well spent. And I think the next part of the people portion, which is the ideal team member, which we've been talking a lot about process. When we start to align process to the ideal team member, I look at an ideal team member in this sort of way. Do they have the capacity to do the job? Like, am I just loading something else on my team member that they really just don't have the capacity, they don't have the time, they're already full, all this other stuff, which is a problem for small business owners. It's like, oh, we only have 3 people, we only have 7 people, we only have 20 people, whatever it is, and we need 25. But right now I'm hiring 21, and I'm just going to overload everybody until we can get the next people hired, and still wonder why things aren't happening right. So all of these things are these little sort of stepping stones along the way. But do they have the capacity? Do they have the capability?
Well, that's a
Sometimes we're at,
question. It's a question that we need to figure out. They might have the capacity, but not the capability. And that can be quite a challenge for the business owner to work that out and to find the right fit.
it is, and it's part of the hiring process. And I look at hiring as there's internal hiring and there's external hiring. So external hiring is when you're, putting that job board up and it's like, we need somebody else on the team. Internal hiring is I already have people on the team. Is this person a better fit than another person so that we can jiggle our team around in order to align and assign that accountability. And, however we look at it, they need to have the capacity to do it. They need to have the capability. If you're going to align and assign book work to somebody who has never done book work and has never had any training in accounting, that's a problem. Yet sometimes we ask people to do sales that have never sold anything and don't provide them any training. Yet sometimes we ask people to stand on, to build the widget and just say, you know what, here's your pair of work boots. Go and build the widget on the shop floor. Think of a carpenter. It's like, okay, well, the boss leaves the carpentry job and you're asking this person to do plumbing and the person's never done plumbing in his life. And they're like, yeah, you're good to go. No problem. You could do it. Give those words of encouragement. You could do it. Can they? Have we tested it? Have we tried it? Have we been through it with them before? And so many times we're asking our team to do things without the capacity, without the capability, without the confidence. Those are problems, but
Mhm.
we expect it to be done. And it's our duty as leaders not to let this happen. And we go and we kind of come back. And after I've been away for 3 hours asking them to plumb in a bathtub, and we come back and it's not done, and we wonder, it's like, and now we're mad at the person. What do you mean you didn't get it done? Like, we need this done. The bathtub needs to come in. The towel guy's coming tomorrow.
I don't
I
know
use that
how.
as an example. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's a bathtub or whether it's whatever it is in your business, but these things happen in business all the time where we're asking people to do things that they don't have the capacity to do. They don't have the time. They don't have the energy. They don't have the know-how. They don't have the confidence. And if they're not feeling confident, getting back to some of those earlier sort of conversations, if they're not feeling confident about a decision that you're asking them to make, they're not going to make it.
Mm. Oh, very true. It's very true. And you have to you as the leader, you have to have confidence in the person that they can do the task, and they have to have the confidence that that they know what they're doing. And if they don't know what they're doing, then they shouldn't be in that particular position or doing that particular task until they're properly trained.
So true, and we could talk for a lot longer than we have on team. The last P is your ideal supplier, or the last third of the 3 people portion is your ideal supplier. And a lot of people haven't given this a lot of thought. But whether you're outsourcing to a new bookkeeper, whether you outsource your marketing, whether you outsource your manufacturing, whether you outsource your sales component, whether you outsource your human resources component, all of the different people that make your business hum alongside of you, these outsource suppliers, if they don't show up and understand the culture of your business, and especially if they're front facing to your ideal client, wow, we have now a disconnect that our ideal client in their customer journey is seeing, their promise is this. And all along the way of my journey so far, it's been in alignment, and now I've hit something that's like, wow, this is what's going on here. This doesn't seem, I've hit a speed bump on my road to wherever I'm going, and it has slowed me down, and that's not what I want to see, and that's not what I'm paying for, and that's not what I was promised. Yet we have these speed bumps throughout our customer journey all the time, and we're dealing with outsourced suppliers that aren't in complete alignment or don't even know what we really offer. They're not culturally aligned and they don't care.
Mm.
Well, is that the kind of client service that you want to deliver to your client? Probably not. They may not be the ideal people for your promise. So that's why we break down people into those three: your ideal client, your ideal teammate, and your ideal outsource supplier. All three of those have that sphere of influence. And that's what those three are, the ones that keep you up at night. Those three are the ones that you think about and saying, oh my gosh, this happened today. It's usually not a process thing. Process is just the part that gets them to the person that's actually making that decision. And whatever that decision is, whether your customer decided to leave, whether your teammate decided to leave or do something, or whether your outsource supplier didn't deliver the promise in the way, again, we just think by, well, you're an accountant, you should know how to do books, just go do the books. Yet you haven't had a chat of as to whether you were talking accrual accounting or cash accounting, or whether we're talking, how we want expenses and income, or how we want our balance sheet to look, or how we want our metrics to be done and delivered. It's just like, oh, you're an accountant, just go do it.
Yeah, just
Doesn't
because
work
you're an
that way. We
accountant,
still need to have conversations, right?
and just because people say they can do things or they give themselves a label doesn't mean that they can actually do the task.
So it's so true. There needs to be testing there. There needs to be like on in those interviews. Like I said, I use Colby for a big piece of that, and it helps us because every bad hire is a bad hire. And your bad hire is, by the way, the same thing with a bad client. If it's a bad client, you need to get rid of them. They need to go away. And you need to do whatever you can in your power not to get more bad clients because they're taking all of the juices out of your business, all of the juices out of your team, and they're sucking the energy and gas out of your car. We
Yep.
want the best ones
So our
because when,
final P,
go ahead, Rose.
our final P is
Yeah, profit. It's where we all need to get to. It's where we all want to get to. It's what gives us freedom, Rose. It's freedom to hire that next person. It's freedom to do what you want to do in your business. When you have the alignment of all of the things we've talked about here today, profit comes. And until you have alignment, it doesn't. You're always spending those dollars trying to fix these problems because things are out of alignment. You're always rebuilding. You're always trying to do things. You're always trying to, but if you haven't got your promise right, that's why they said the promise is the bedrock. If you haven't got your promise right and you're out of alignment with the next P's, the product, the process, and the people, there is no profit. And it sucks to be in business when that kind of stuff happens. It just is not fun. We want our business to be fun. We want our business to be profitable because once we get to profit, now we can start building value in the business and we can start showing because if you ever do have to sell your business someday or you ever want to sell your business someday, 2 times 0 and 10 times 0 is the same thing. It doesn't matter what your multiple is at the end of the day, because if there's no profit there, there's no multiple. Your business doesn't have any worth. So when we start to set this stuff up, when we start to build profit, we're starting to build worth. And when we start to build worth in our business, we're adding value every day to every decision that we make. We can start looking at things and saying, my business isn't just a job. It's an investment that I'm willing to put money into. It's something that I'm willing to invest time into. It's something that I'm willing to invest so that I can see the outcome. And the outcome is someday there will be a payoff. one thing I can guarantee is that everybody here listening will exit their business one day. It's a guarantee. Is your business exit ready? And that's why I started a business called the Exit Ready Business. But, is your business exit ready? Because one day you will exit. And 50% of the businesses exit not because they want to, it's because they have to. And think of it. You probably know someone who has died prematurely. You probably know someone who got divorced, and for whatever reason the business had to either be sold or closed down because they got divorced. And most divorces, people want 50%. And if a lot of the business in the marriage is, or a lot of the money in the marriage is got to do with the business, there's issues around all of that. Disagreement is another one. If you have a partner, partnerships don't last forever either. Somebody will exit the business before the other person. Is it ready to go? Things like distress, like let's say tariffs, which is a word that's out there in the world these days. Tariffs can cause serious problem for some businesses. Are you prepared? Do you have your funds in alignment? Can you weather the storm? Like all of these things you need to be thinking about, because if you don't have these things in place, you will lose value on the day that you do exit, whenever that is. It might be a year from now, it might be 10 years from now or 20 years from now. It doesn't matter. Your business always has to be exit ready. And if you align and assign your 5 Ps, you're going to be that much further ahead to enjoy some profit, to enjoy some freedom, and one day to enjoy a successful exit of your business.
Makes a lot of sense. And, we probably all know someone who hasn't had the 5 Ps in place, who it makes a little bit of a profit. When it comes to selling, though, that profit really means absolutely nothing because it's not high enough for someone else to take on the problems that the business might have.
Very true. And I find it unfortunate. I mean, I work with a lot of small business owners as they get ready to sell for whatever reason. Some of them are 30 years old that are done with their business and are basically just saying, I need to take this because I want the money out of it to build my next business. And then other people maybe at the end of their career and saying, I just want to exit to retire. It really doesn't matter. We still need to go through the process, whether we're building the business for freedom or whether we're building the business to exit at whatever stage of life you're in. The 5 Ps are going to help you align and assign all of that so that you can have a better go of it.
Absolutely. If you want to hear more from Peter, want to learn more about Simplifying Entrepreneurship, you can find him on Facebook at Simplifying Entrepreneurship, at LinkedIn at Pete Mohr, and Mohr is spelled Mohr. His website, pete-mohr.com, the exitreadybusiness.com, and he would like to share with you simplifyingentrepreneurship.com/laws. What is that, and how can people access it?
It's really a little download PDF ebook that's the 10 laws on getting your business set up. Like we've talked about, the 5 Ps are in there. There are 5 more that we just don't have time to chat about today. But it's really just giving you this guidance and strategic framework to get things and start thinking about the things, these changes that we've talked about here in the last little while. Thanks so much for having me, Rose.
Thanks.
It's been a real pleasure to see you again.
And you, thank you so much for your insights. I've really enjoyed listening and participating.
Make it a great day.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us at the Talking with the Experts Online Business Summit with your host, Rose Davidson. We hope you found the insights and strategies shared by our esteemed presenter valuable. Remember, your journey to success doesn't end here. Keep applying what you've learned, stay connected with our community, and continue to push the boundaries of your business. Until next time, keep thriving and striving for excellence. Goodbye, and see you at our next summit.